everyone, this is Niki Rowland, and today I have a layout for Shimmerz paints. I am using the absolutely beautiful September Color Kitz. This is a gorgeous set, really beautiful colours. I think possibly my favourite colour kit to date. It's just so beautiful. The colours are so beautiful. I have also gone for the exclusive cut file. So the ones, every colour kit comes with an exclusive cut file, and this one is called the Stella Flower. It's a flower that you build up. It has multiple layers. I think it has 2 of the big petals, it has 5 of the smaller petals, and then it has a rolled flower center. You can really have some fun with this. I've seen it used already by some others who have made it quite big, and I went the opposite way and made them quite small. So I've managed, on one sheet of Marshmallow cardstock that you can see there that's still stuck to my cutting mat, I've managed to get 5 sets of the Stella Flower onto that mat, onto one sheet. So I've got quite a few there really. Yeah, I am now just painting my flowers. They're going to be so pretty, and the colours I'm using, the lighter colour, the lighter bluey purple colour you can see at the top left is in the bottle Vibez blue jeans. And then the darker purple is the Shimmerz Iris My Case, which is a beautiful deep shimmery purple. And then the reddy pink colour you can see is a Shimmerz, which is called Magenta. So really very rich, beautiful colours. The other 2 colours in the September Color Kitz this month are an Inklingz Ice Sage, which is a brand new exclusive colour, and the other one is Shimmerz Buttercream, which is a comeback colour. So it's one we used to have, but we haven't had for a while, and now it has come back, and it's really lovely. So like I said, right now I'm just using those first 3 colours from the kit to paint my flowers. So I've decided that I'm going to use the other 2 colours, the Ice Sage and the Buttercream, on my background, but my flowers are going to be the pinks and purples. So that is where I was headed with this, and I'm really pleased that I did it that way because it looks great. I love my finished layout. So yeah. So I've just been painting with a paintbrush directly out of the pots and the bottles, I've just literally painted them on fairly thick, and then I've added some splatters, and now I've waited until they are dry before I peeled them off of my mat. So this is a few hours later. I prefer to let things dry naturally rather than use a heat tool if I possibly can, because it means that things don't warp so much. So I just left them to dry, and they've come off beautifully and they look gorgeous. So this is my first Stella Flower being made. So what you need to do with the bottom layer, I kind of pinched each petal so that it was stand up slightly at the edges, and then with the middle flowers, the middle petals, I pinched them all up to the middle, so I kind of scrunched them all up. I'm really sorry that I'm off camera slightly doing this. I thought I was in view, and then I can't now change the footage now that I have already filmed it, unfortunately. I think the next one that I make, I move up a bit, so you'll be able to see a bit clearer what I'm doing. But this one here, I was a bit scared about how deep and how raised the flower would be. Bulky is probably the best word. For the first flower that I made, I only used 3 layers of the smaller petals instead of 5, but actually that was a mistake. They look so good with all 5 layers that I wish I had done that, but I didn't waste the other 2. I used them just together as an extra flower. So okay, you can see that what I'm doing here, I'm just making sure that all my petals are free from each other, so where the cut file cuts, some of them don't cut all the way to the middle, so I'm just snipping that with some scissors so that I have my petals are free, and the bottom two petals, layer petals, I'm just, I say, I'm going to pinch up each petal individually, whereas the middle layers, so the smaller layer, I'm just going to pinch it at the bottom, if you like, or the middle, so I kind of hold onto the center of the flower itself, and then make sure all the petals go up, and therefore can you see there? I've really pinched them all together, so that they will then fan down and create a really beautiful dimensional flower. So I'm just using my hot glue gun to literally put them all together. Because there's so many layers, I needed to press them all together, and I used a back at the end of a paintbrush for that, just to really press them down. And you could see when I did that all of the petals kind of pinched in further together in the middle, and it gives this really, really beautiful dimensional flower. So the middle section of the Stella flower is a rolled flower section, and you literally just start from the outside, roll it in, and then secure it on the bottom, and then that can go in the center of your Stella flowers. So here I am with 5 Stella flowers, all complete and looking beautiful. Like I said, because I used I left out 2 layers on one of the flowers, I had 2 little layers left over, so I just layered those together, and then I had an extra flower, although it's much smaller and doesn't have any dimensions, so which gave me an extra little embellishment. Okay, so now Stella flowers complete, and now I can move on to my background, and I have used just there, that colour I've put on there already is called Ice Sage. That's an Inkling, which means that it's like a hard watercolour paint, and you have to activate it with some water. So I like to spray a small amount of water into my pot and let it sit for a few minutes, and that kind of dissolves the top layer of the paint, and it means that then you end up with this really lovely, rich paint that you can pick up with a paintbrush. So that's what I've done there, and I've applied it to my background with the packaging technique, and I've done exactly the same for the buttercream, except that the buttercream is a Shimmerz paint, so it's an already mixed wet watercolor paint that you can just dip your paintbrush into and use. So again, I did that, and then I put it onto a piece of packaging, turned it upside down, and pressed it onto my piece of cardstock there, and yeah. So this is a bit later, my layout is dry, and now I can, my background is dry. Oh, I forgot to say that I added lots of splatters as well of those same 2 colours from my background. So now I'm going to create the rest of my layout and arrange everything on there. So I have got some metal dies, and I've cut out some pretty heart-shaped shapes from a couple of different pattern papers. Now I'm reaching back into older collections here, and I've gone for pink paisley again and again from last year, and then I've also got a little bit of Paige Evans Bloom Street, which is not very old at all, but is the previous collection. So the current one is Go the Scenic Route, and this one is her previous one, Bloom Street. So that bird is from Bloom Street, and I have some fussy cut flowers from Bloom Street too. And together these collections go really lovely, really nicely, really lovely. And I've got a black and white photo of my beautiful girl who is 9, and I'm just going to arrange my 2 hearts and my photo onto the layout, as you can see there, and then I'm going to build up my Stella flowers around the photo, and then I have another smaller cluster over to the left. That is another small heart that's a die cut heart, like a metal die, and I've added a small flower there plus one of the pink Stella flowers, and then over on the right hand side I've got some more flowers and one of the dots from the September Color Kitz. Not everything's stuck in place just yet, but I'm getting there. I've used one of the other dots as well, that's pink and says My Happy Place, and that's at the top left of the photo. It's got a bit of a glare on it that you can see right now, but it's really lovely. The dots are great fun. I really like them. They're really lovely extra embellishment and extra touch to add to your layouts. So in the September Color Kitz, we have some really cute wooden clothes pegs, and I have just clipped 3 of those onto the side of my photo, but I really love painting wood pieces, even the flat ones, with Shimmerz paints, because the wood kind of absorbs the paint so beautifully, and then you're just left with this really beautiful shimmers on the top of the wooden surface. So painting wooden shapes goes really well with Shimmerz paints, so I was straight away had to do that with these cute little clothes pegs. And so I've just clipped them onto the right side of my layout and then painted them. So now I am just adding in some sequins. So I have pulled out a couple of sequin mixes to use by Spiegelmum Scraps. One is called Pick Your Plum and one is called Rose Gold Glory. They are older Spiegelmum Scraps sets. I have a vast amount that I'm trying to get through, yeah, I could just dig in and pull out some that were a perfect match. Of course I have those. Just sprinkling those over and going to just stick those down with some glossy accents. Yeah, so it's all coming together. I've also added in some acrylic perspective shapes by Bramble Fox. I've just added in 3 hearts. Obviously I have hearts on my background as part of my shapes, so I wanted to bring that through further. So I've just got 2 pink ones with arrows through them and 1 mirrored one. And that is me nearly done. So my layout is pretty much complete. I love how it looks. I love the design, the kind of diagonal thing that I've got going on. But I've covered up a lot of my background, so I felt that I wanted to add in some extra splatters, and I've gone for the Ice Sage. Definitely is one of my favourite colours. It's really pretty, so I've just added some extra splatters, and I also added a little bit of extra colour at the top as well, just with a paintbrush. You can just about see it there. So that is me done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I really loved making the Stella flowers, so give those a go. The cut file seemed a bit daunting at first because there were so many layers, but it was super easy, and I hope I have inspired you to use the kit and the cut file. Don't forget that if you place an order with Shimmerz, put my name in the comments to receive a freebie. Happy days. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Shimmerz Paints.